Strategic Communication Personal and Organizational Developmental Plan by Brittany Moss. Communication at large is the way in which we are able to exchange information and news, as well as the means of connections between people or places in the workplace. In my communication assessment, the results identified my communication style as being a creator. Some of the characteristics that I am in were that I am enthusiastic and excitement driven. Some of my other strengths were that I have a great ability with public speaking. The communication assessment tool was a great reflection of how I am in my supervisory position at work. I agree with the results because I feel that some of these traits allow me to be a successful leader. I especially feel that I need to work on focusing on tasks more and relationships less. Although I am practicing, I do feel like I have to be better at being able to give clear directives and ensuring that there is follow through. Becoming a supervisor amongst my peers has allowed me to see that there are some skills that I need to improve on, and I feel that these attributes will help the success of my communications plan because it will make for a stronger communication plan. These were my results, and it shows that my natural style is to be a supporter and my adaptive style is to be a coordinator. The close proximity of the star and the circle indicate that I am utilizing the behavioral strengths in my current job and there is not a large need to adapt. In order to develop more effective communication amongst my organization, I plan to incorporate the following: carefully choosing words when delivering information is something that I would like to point out. In recent research, I found that in conversation, people who have command of the subject at hand sometimes exercise great care in what they say so as to reduce the chance of being misinterpreted. Being a supervisor incorporates a lot of communication with people, being able to communicate clearly and meaningfully, and delivery of information and how it is delivered is something that must be taken into heavy consideration of what makes a competent communicator. How these competencies will carry out effective communication. These factors will improve communication by ensuring that a group is cohesive, able to follow through when given appropriate directives, establishes a trust relationship, and taking accountability for what work can be carried out. My professional plan of action is to look at the relationship between skills and competencies to the culture of my organization, which are to communicate by using a guideline or basis and using a model that ensures quality of communication. Next, we will look at how to positively increase professional effectiveness. We will be able to do this by providing solid, tangible, and practical evidence, drawing out personal goals and working toward achieving them, using schedule implementation when taking action. Behaviors to modify are being prepared with all requirements, objectives, and supportive material, providing facts logically and efficiently, as well as supporting the results, not just the person. How the changes will be implemented by providing clearer directives and information, planning and acting on ideas accordingly, and being persistent with presenting information. Next, we will take a look at the measurement of the plan. Employee performance. Employee performance is going to be reviewed by glancing at the strengths and abilities through employee profiles, also by focusing on communication between colleagues. Quality of content. This includes ensuring that all communication is at high quality content. Through the many communication channels, it is essential that the content remains professional and at a high quality. Watching employee engagement levels. This can make or break an organization. Watching levels of social engagement is making sure the organization is moving in the right direction, as well as looking for strong collaborations amongst members of the organization. This will ensure that the plan is effective. Possible resources for planning and training. The 7 C's of communication is helpful because it provides a checklist for making sure that communication through email, meetings, conference calls, reports, and presentations are clear and well constructed. This will be implemented in the training and planning of effective communication because it provides a structural framework for effective communication. The 7 C's are being clear, being concise, being concrete, being correct, being coherent, being complete, being courteous. We will also look at the communication model. Empathetic listening is a skill that requires hard work. The use of different communication models is necessary due to the following variables: differences between sender and receiver, differences in communication styles, differences in history, as well as cultural differences. Accountability. The responsibility will be all parties involved. All parties are responsible for effective communication because it is responsibility of the organization to provide the expectations, and the members' responsibilities are to lead by example and carry out the expectations. The question that remains is, whose responsibility is it to communicate? The answer to that question is it is everyone's who is involved responsibility to implement the plans to effectively communicate. The major key here is to set an example and ensure that the members of the organization are leading by example. Monitoring progress of effective communication. Keeping track of communication, especially the receipts of communication between parties. For example, email, meeting minutes, monitored phone calls. Communication is an ongoing task through many communication channels, for example, email. The use of email is a perfect example of how a lot of communication is transferred. Maintaining a formal use of communication in the workplace is an indication that effective communication is being implemented. Lastly, the commitment to excellence. My commitment to excellence is to be an effective leader and to ensure a foundation of successful leadership through my ability to be able to delegate, take accountability, show commitment and compassion, inspire others, and last but not least, being a good communicator.